Hello.
So a lot of you might be actually wondering why I wanted a 2012 Mac Pro with a GTX 680 in it, and why I'm keeping the original GPU. Well, the aforementioned problems with it not showing the boot sequence when not using this card is a problem, and mainly that's going to hinder my ability to do the videos that I want to do on machines like this over on the Mellowcore channel, which is spelled like Mellotron except it's Mellowcore, and I'm going to do long form content on machines like this, and that's going to be the premise of a lot of those videos. Some of these machines, they're really well balanced and they have a lot of cool features, but the problems that they have are terrible. But once you overcome them, they turn into some really excellent machines with great build quality, great performance, great reliability, just great all around on Windows and on Mac OS. This card is not a slow card, especially for 2010 and 2012, but NVIDIA's just kick ass. So that's why I installed the NVIDIA GPU in here, and I wanted to make sure that I had a Windows installation, specifically Windows 8.1, that could run, pirated video games, because of course Steam's not going to run on here. So the games I own, I will just download from some other site and then put them on here. And they'll just work, no internet required. And the reason why I wanted a 680 is because, well, it's 2012. It was NVIDIA's highest end single card solution for gamers in 2012, and this machine's from 2012. Eventually, I might put the 2010 Mac Pro's CPU tray that I have into this machine, because this is actually the slowest 12-core option, and there were actually three in 2012. There was a 2.4, a 2.66, and a 2.93 12-core option. In 2010, I think there might have only been 2.4 and 2.66. But anyway, I have a 2010 2.66 that's not in great condition. This one is in great condition outside the case, but of course inside I've broken that little button because I just couldn't get it open one day, so I tried to force it, which you sometimes just have to do, and it doesn't work anymore. So that part's broken, but I was able to basically alleviate every issue that came from that. I just have to lever the rod back that it's supposed to control in order to take out and insert PCIe cards like GPUs, which you saw earlier. So I just really like these computers because I'm 23, so given that these machines were hallmarks of my childhood. I mean, my dad had a 2010 Mac Pro, the 6-core one that I mentioned earlier that I sold. It just seemed like unobtainium to me, and it pretty much was, because those are very expensive machines for a very long time, and they didn't really come down in price. And when they did, people just threw them out because they were worthless to them, and no one actually sold a computer that was more than a couple of years old, because by then it's useless, because just the rapid improvement of computers in the 2000s was insane. I mean, just from 1 year, 2005 to 2006, Apple went from PowerPC to Intel. Apparently, so says the 8-bit guy, I don't know how true this is, but the 2005 quad-core Power Mac G5, which is the first liquid-cooled system ever to be sold to just the average Joe, just as a consumer product, as a consumer PC system, it was the first liquid-cooled one, apparently. That was weird, but it was also it was the fastest, most powerful PowerPC system Apple ever made. Oh, and it was very, very expensive. And given that, in its most expensive configuration, in 2005. In 2006, Apple switched to Intel, and the first Mac Mini outperformed it. Not at its base configuration, because actually the second Mac Mini, the first Mac Mini was actually PowerPC, it was a G4, but the second Mac Mini in 2006 had an Intel Core Duo, and in fact, that Mac Mini outperforms the Power Mac G5 quad-core, apparently. Oh, actually, and the thing that I kind of forgot to mention about that is the second Mac Mini had a configuration that was actually a Core Solo. So it was like a Core 2 Duo, but 32-bit, so it's like a Core Duo, but only one of them. It's a Core Solo. It's a single Core Duo, which is weird. So it's kind of wild they ever sold that. The next year they had Core 2 Duos, and that was all they had. Until they started putting i5s and i7s in them. Yeah, so these machines, I find them fascinating. They're hallmarks of my childhood, even though I really never got to use them. Although I did, the first song I ever purchased was purchased on one of these, and I did it without asking. Just walked into my dad's office, and that was one of the reasons why I wasn't allowed in the office of the house. It was because I was noteworthy for just messing with stuff and just breaking things. At one point, we had a box of remotes. This video's gone way past the deep end, but I really want to tell the story. When I was like 9, something like that, maybe even 11, I don't know, but I think I was like 9. I would get so bored, I would just get into everything. And one day I went into my dad's office, and there was this huge box full of remotes. And some of these remotes were really weird, like they had like screens and stuff, so not cheap. And there were just remotes for like everything in that box. Everything that wasn't terribly in use was in that box. I took this box of remotes and I took apart like more than half of the remotes, which basically rendered most of, the things those remotes went to useless. I think that was like one of the maddest times my dad has been like the maddest at me. That was great. I don't think I ever did anything like that again, but I'm very nostalgic to times I guess like that, I don't know, but at the time, well, my dad still had the 2010 Mac Pro. Well, he had it until he got the trash can in very early 2014, which I actually still have. I still have that machine. I've upgraded it to a 12-core, from a 6-core to a 12-core, and I have a lot of other interesting machines. I have a Toshiba Cosmio, which I might as well show it to you because you're not going to get the full scope of it if I just tell you about it. It's actually plugged in right now. This is the Toshiba Cosmio. It's huge, it's dummy thick, and it's really heavy. Oh, and it's turning on. But look at those speakers. Isn't that crazy? These have Harman Kardon speakers, and they sound amazing. Activate Windows, and you can screw off. There's a lot of weird things about this machine. The Toshiba Cosmios were known for being able to record live TV. I just scraped TV off the air with like internal components they had, but this one I'm not really sure if it can do it. I don't see any of the ports I would expect for that, and yeah, I just don't know if that's a thing for this machine. But this machine is so big and heavy that it has to have more than like a pretty crap tier DGPU, an Intel Core 2 Duo, and 2 hard drive slots. That can't be all this has. This has to have more than that. But I don't know. I don't know how to figure that out without taking it apart, because I looked up this machine and I don't really know what to make of it. I don't really know what to do with it. But I'm definitely going to make a video on this. But I would like to know more about it before I do that. Before I make a long form video on it. Because if I don't know enough about it, well, it's not going to be that interesting. I'm not going to be able to show it off in an in-depth form that I would want to. But for the Mac Pros, I can definitely do that with. But the problem is, okay, so back to the Mac Pros. The reason why I put a 680 in it, and I'm still holding on to this, is because I want to show all the use cases for a machine like this. I want to show what it did, back in the day, what its actual use was for everyone. And then I want to show, what a gamer could use it for now, or even at the time, because 2012, it's a 2012 GPU, and that plays Portal flawlessly, and if it could play something newer pretty well, then that's actually a really good machine, even for 2015, I guess. It's just weird. Also, this has enough CPU power left over from playing a game to maybe actually be able to do screen recording, like actually do like an on system display recording without impacting much game performance. Because a lot of games didn't use a lot of CPU. In the old days they did, like in the mid 90s, but in like 2007 onward, or like I guess 1996 onward, games started using more GPU than CPU. And this machine has 12 CPU cores and 2 CPUs. So you bet your ass is going to have some power left over for something else. And the OS isn't going to use that much. So if you have a second hard drive, you could record your screen to it with like fraps or something, and have like almost no impact to your video game performance. At least in my head. I don't know if it actually could do that in practice because I haven't tried that. I could try it because I do have 4 hard drives in here now. I would want to record onto the 3 terabyte hard drive, onto the 4 terabyte hard drive, because there's one that's 500 gigs, and then 2 that are like 250 gig. But yeah, and I have network shares, but that I'm definitely not recording to that. This does not have enough Wi-Fi bandwidth to push fraps recording through the network. I mean, goddamn. So I haven't tested that yet, but that's something that I want to test and mention in the long form content that I want to make on these kind of machines, because I think no one else is talking about it. No one else really cared about it at the time, I guess, because if you're buying this machine, you're not thinking, oh, I'm gonna game and screen record it and then post it to YouTube. I mean, I guess in 2012 that was becoming a thing, but in 2012, if you buy a Mac Pro, that's not what you're doing, At least I don't think so. There's probably some people that did, but they probably already had the hardware, the Mac Pro, for something else, and then decided to dive into video games while they had it. There's also a lot of Mac games that I want to get into, like Marathon, although Marathon is much, much older than this. I've actually played it on an iMac G3 from 1998. It runs about how it should. It's a game from 1994, so it better run on a machine from 1998. I want to do videos on this machine and many other machines, including the 2013 iMac, which the 2013 27-inch iMac with the i7 and the GTX 780, one of the most rock-solid and balanced machines I think Apple's ever made. And, it pairs really well with this 1440p display, has great speakers, the display looks great, it runs great, it's just a fantastic machine, and very hard to outdo, at least for the time. So, that's about it. This has been Mepper, and I'll see you all next time. We're gonna put the nut. We're gonna add the nut singling. We're gonna put the nut. We're gonna add the nut singling. You trash calling. Ah. Bro. Inside here. So, bro. Jesus. Again? I'm losing my patience with you, boy. Fucking let me edit, mate. I'll kill you. I will. I'll do it. Oh, god damn it. Oh my god. This is the K-Sack. First drive. Ow! That was my toe hole. Stupid! No! Oh, you piece of shit. 3. No! In the, Fuck, I'm almost done, come on.